Mr. Speaker, if he wants to know what Conservatives would do, he should resign and find out. Mr. Speaker, until then, I'm the one asking the questions. There's a petition out there, 2 million people asking him to go.
Keir Starmer should resign in utter disgrace.
I have to start with bad news. 8 Conservative councillors have announced in the last few minutes that they are defecting to Reform UK. I mean, you know, they pick their timing.
Starmer's nightmare. 1 million demand snap election after Labour suffers humiliating Mendelssohn files emerge. Over 1 million Britons have signed a petition demanding an immediate general election, plunging Keir Starmer into political chaos as Parliament prepares to debate the nightmare scenario that could spell disaster for Labour's already crumbling authority. Right, let's get straight into this absolute car crash, shall we? Because what we're witnessing isn't just your garden-variety political turbulence. This is a full-blown constitutional earthquake that's shaking Number 10 to its foundations. 1 million signatures. Let that sink in for a moment. 1 million British citizens have essentially looked at Sir Keir Starmer's government and said, "Thanks, but no thanks, we'd rather like our country back now, if you don't mind." The irony of a Prime Minister who promised to restore stability finding his own seat at the table vibrating with the collective fury of the electorate is, frankly, delicious. What we are seeing is a total collapse of the political centre. It wasn't just a petition that triggered this week's panic, it was the absolute bloodbath in Gorton and Denton. For those who aren't familiar with the geography of Labour's heartlands, Gorton and Denton was supposed to be a fortress, a stronghold. Instead, it became a burial ground for Labour's credibility. The Green Party didn't just win, they dismantled a decades-old majority, relegating the government to a humiliating third place. Third place. In a seat they should have won in their sleep. It wasn't just a loss, it was a rejection of the Starmer brand of mandate that feels increasingly like a mandatory sentence. Welcome back to British Coffers, the home of the high-standard, forensic political analysis that the establishment finds deeply inconvenient. We provide a peer-to-peer perspective that cuts through the state-sanctioned spin to reveal the raw mechanics of how your money and your country are being managed, or, in this case, spectacularly mismanaged. If you are watching a Prime Minister trade his integrity for a seat in the back of a black cab, you have found your tribe. We track the character collapses and the institutional shifting of the UK's power dynamics with a refined, slightly sassy edge that treats you like an adult. Before we dissect the fact that Nigel Farage is currently leading the national polls while the Prime Minister hides behind redactions, do yourself a massive favour. Hit that subscribe button right now. Join the British Coffers community. We are building a movement for the politically astute who want the unvarnished truth about why the Westminster bubble is currently leaking air at an alarming rate. Subscribe now to British Coffers, and let's explore the true cost of this Downing Street chaos. Parliament is actually going to be forced into a corner over this. The petition itself is beautifully simple, almost elegantly damning in its brevity. We want an immediate general election to be held. We think the majority need and want change. It's not wrapped up in political jargon or Westminster waffle. It is a straightforward demand from over 1 million voters who have decided they have seen quite enough. And while the government's official response has been a masterpiece of bureaucratic tone deafness, claiming they were elected on a mandate of change in 2024, the reality on the ground is that the change they've delivered feels suspiciously like a decline. If you think the petition is the only problem, you haven't seen the polling. The latest data is the sort of reading that would make any Prime Minister reach for something considerably stronger than tea. Labour is currently polling at a dismal 16%. Let that sink in. They are tied with the Greens. The Greens. Meanwhile, the Conservatives are sitting at 18%, but the real kicker, the one that is currently sending shivers through the Labour whip's office, is Reform UK. They are leading the pack at 29%. Nigel Farage isn't just a gadfly anymore, he is the shark in the water, and the scent of Labour's blood is everywhere. If you're finding this as fascinating as I am, make sure you're subscribed to British Coffers because we're breaking down every twist and turn of this political melodrama as it unfolds. Hit that subscribe button, you won't want to miss what comes next. What's particularly telling is the geography of this discontent. The highest number of signatures isn't just coming from the usual Tory shires. We're seeing massive support in places like Burnley, Portsmouth North, and even traditional northern heartlands. People who voted for Labour just a few months ago are now essentially signing a buyer's remorse form. Alex Burghardt, a key ally of Kemi Badenoch, didn't hold back when he called us the most unpopular government in history. When you win a landslide and within a year the public is asking for a do-over, you haven't just lost the room, you've lost the building. The Gorton and Denton by-election result was the catalyst for this latest surge. Hannah Spencer, Hannah the plumber, didn't just win a seat, she shattered the illusion that there is no alternative to the Starmer project. Labour's vote share plummeted by 25 percentage points. That isn't a swing, that's a free-fall. The Green Party victory in a northern Labour stronghold establishes them as a serious political force and, perhaps more dangerously for Starmer, a credible anti-reform alternative. The Prime Minister's electoral coalition is fracturing at both ends. Progressives are fleeing to the Greens, and the working class are marching toward Reform UK. As we navigate this Starmer nightmare, remember that British Coffers is the only place where the analysis is as sharp as the reality. Subscribe now and join the elite group of observers who see the patterns before they become headlines. We are tracking the fallout of the Mandelson files, the fuel-duty chaos, and the total collapse of the Labour front bench. Subscribe to British Coffers now, because the government might be trying to cancel the local elections in May, but they can't cancel the truth. Monday's debate in Parliament will last up to 3 hours. It will be opened by John Lamont and likely responded to by a minister without portfolio, the classic British title for someone whose only job is to catch the political grenades. But the debate itself is a symptom of a deeper crisis, a crisis of legitimacy. You can have a majority in the House, but if you don't have the consent of the governed, you are merely occupying an office. The British public are remarkably patient, but when 1 million of them take the time to sign a formal demand for your departure, the clock has started ticking. What happens next? Legislatively, probably nothing. Labour will use their majority to vote down any call for a snap election. But politically, this is terminal. Every day that Starmer remains in number 10 while polling behind a third-party movement like Reform UK is a day that devalues the office of the Prime Minister. The grown-ups in the room are currently acting like toddlers hiding under a desk while the House burns down. This has been British Coffers. We will be tracking the parliamentary debate and the inevitable Labour backbench rebellion with an extremely close eye. Make sure you are subscribed and your notifications are switched on. Our next video will examine whether Kemi Badenoch can actually capitalise on this chaos, or if Nigel Farage is the only one truly ready to take the keys to the kingdom. Stay sharp, stay sceptical, and keep coming back for the analysis that gives you the facts without
give them the chance to succeed.
Anderson. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Whilst the Labour front bench continue to peddle their own form of dog whistle politics, Reform UK... Reform UK are cracking on with the day job. Our reform-led councils are reform...
Can I just say, you might say it's the way he tells them, but it might be worse, it's the way I tell them. Lee Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our reform-led councils have already identified savings of over £330 million in the first 6 months. And the Prime Minister may shake his head propped up by these gullible backbenchers, but here's the challenge. Will he guarantee, will he ensure that all the cancelled elections from this year and the proposed local elections for next year will go ahead